because he's not American, so why would he? Hey guys, what's up? It's Kelly again, and welcome back to my channel. There are a lot of awesome things about dating someone from a completely different country and a completely different culture than my own. I am so grateful to have my German boyfriend Misha in my life, but being in a multinational relationship definitely comes with its challenges. My kitchen now includes strange ingredients. I have to sift through unknown foreign medicines in my medicine cabinet to find what I need. And I had to convince Misha that I can hang framed photos on the walls of our American apartment without them falling down every time a door closes. These are all sort of easy and cute byproducts of me being in a relationship with a German. But in this video, I'm gonna give you the real talk about what it's like for me as an American to be dating a German, a lot of which I think will be hashtag relatable for anyone else in a multinational or multicultural relationship. The most frustrating challenge that Misha and I face in our relationship is immigration. Every time someone asks me why Misha isn't in the United States with me right now, or when Misha will be back in the US, I launch into what has become a formalized presentation about our experience in navigating US immigration law and processes. I'm sure you know some couples who are able to tell their how we met story to the point where it feels like you're watching a scripted performance. Well, that's Misha and me, except instead of adorable anecdotes detailing the circumstantial encounter of two soulmates, it's a convoluted narrative involving an assortment of visas and legal terms that no one's ever heard of unless they've gotten to ride this statutory roller coaster themselves. Despite what people try to say, immigrating to the United States, it's not easy. I can't possibly explain it all in this video, nor do I think you want me to, but in order for Misha to be able to live and work in the United States, he would need to have an H-1B visa, which requires him to not only find a company that's willing to hire him over an American, but to also host him through the entire H-1B process. This includes a lot of paperwork, a lot of fees, and taking a chance on him winning the H-1B lottery, which can change at the whims of the administration and Congress. You might be wondering why I don't immigrate over to Germany, which is a valid question, but not a valid solution because of my current job contract. So I'm very thankful that Misha is willing to put up with all of this frustration and uncertainty in order to be with me while also enabling me to continue my career. I always make the joke with people that if Misha would just let me be his sugar mama, it would make things a lot easier. But I really do admire his passion for his career and his desire to be a contributing member of society through his work, and that's something that really resonates with me. So for now, we're just gonna keep playing this visa game. Another probably obvious challenge that Misha and I face in our relationship is the occasional language barrier, but maybe with a different twist than what you're expecting. Because here's the deal, Misha's English is so good that I actually forget it isn't his first language, and actually it's not even his second language. And sure, he has an accent, but I'm so used to hearing it at this point that I don't even really notice it anymore, unless he's pronouncing a word like determine, which he sometimes pronounces as determine. It's adorable. And so I say all that to explain that sometimes Misha and I will have a disagreement and I will be completely dumbfounded by either something he said or his response to something I said. And the idea that this disagreement could all be a matter of misunderstanding stemming from a language barrier, or better yet, a cultural barrier, won't even cross my mind until I'm already very much invested in this disagreement, which is just a polite way of me saying that I'm already at the point of being very, very upset. So that's fun. But the language barrier isn't confined to just circumstances between Misha and I, but also his parents, because they don't speak English, and my very rudimentary German is not enough for me to have a real and substantive conversation with them. This, of course, makes for some very awkward moments, but more importantly, it means that at this point I really have no way of building a relationship with Misha's parents, which, I mean, that sucks. And also, Misha could be telling them all sorts of things about me, like how wonderful I am. And I don't have the chance to show them how wrong he is. Meeting each other's friends can be a big deal for many couples for obvious reasons, and it can definitely be a challenge, or at least a little short hurdle for most monocultural, I don't know if that's a word, and if it is, I think it actually deals with agriculture, but you know what I mean. Couples where they come from the same culture. But for us, it is challenging on like a whole different level. German culture is still fairly foreign to me, even though I lived there for a bit of time and I have spent a lot of time with Misha, peppering him with all sorts of questions about German culture. And so I am very aware of the fact that I am the outsider whenever I'm with a group of Misha's German friends. And as someone with a certain level of social anxiety, this can really inhibit me from being able to fully relax and enjoy being with his friends. The interesting thing is that I have a lot of multinational friends who I feel completely comfortable around, but what I've learned about myself is that I am particularly self-conscious whenever I'm with a group of Germans, and I think that this is primarily because I am hyper aware of these stereotypes and the talking points a lot of Germans have about Americans because they are so forthcoming about them. And so if, and let's be honest, when I make a mistake in front of a German or a group of Germans who don't really know me, I get really, really embarrassed and hard on myself, thinking things like, wow, Kelly, you just confirmed the stereotype that all Americans are giant dum-dums. So these are sort of the thoughts that I am sitting here wondering, should I be sharing this very personal detail with the whole world on the internet? But I promised you real talk, so there it is. Now, as for Misha meeting my friends, it's really interesting for me to observe. First of all, a lot of my friends have either been to Germany on vacation or they've even lived there, and since that is the obvious commonality between them and Misha, they will often instinctively engage in conversation about Germany with Misha. But the thing is, Misha never wants to talk about Germany. Trust me, I know he gets very annoyed with me when I ask him questions about Germany, but yet he just keeps getting stuck in these conversations about Germany because it is the most obvious thing for people to talk to him about. I've also come to notice that a lot of my friends, or I guess I should just say some of my friends, assume that Misha doesn't understand American-specific humor or cultural references because he's not American, so why would he? But what they often fail to realize is just how prominent the US entertainment industry is across the world, and that in particular, Misha is someone who grew up watching American TV shows and movies, and he's very interested in our political system and reading our news, and he keeps up with all of that. And so he will most likely understand even the most niche American joke that you can possibly think of. In fact, there are times where I realize that Misha may very well know more about American pop culture than I do. Another aspect of our multinational, multicultural relationship deals with the culture shocks and frustrations that we've experienced in each other's countries. But the more interesting part of this is how we can now see our own country through each other's eyes. So when I was living in Germany, I would often complain to Misha about how generally rude the customer service felt to me. It seemed that more often than not, cashiers would grumble through their transactions with me, servers would exhibit impatience with me, and no matter where I went or what I did, I was always getting corrected for unknowingly doing something wrong. It was exhausting for me because I am used to the US, where more often than not, people in customer service are very enthusiastic and nice, and people just generally let you do you. But whenever I would complain to Misha about the customer service in Germany or getting lectured by yet another stranger on the street, and even if Misha was standing right with me when it happened, or if he himself was the recipient of such behavior, he always just sort of wrote it off as me being dramatic or over-exaggerating, because to him, this behavior was completely normal. He grew up around it. However, when he went back to Germany after having spent an entire year in the United States, he finally told me that he recognized the rude customer service and the lecturing the same as I had. Not that I was happy to hear that people were being rude to Misha, but I did feel a little vindicated. And so now Misha understands just why I was so bewildered by some of the interactions I had when I was living in Germany. And of course, Misha and I have experienced cultural barriers between each other. Sometimes these barriers have no real impact on our relationship. It's just something that we have to learn about each other. But sometimes they clash, and sometimes they clash hard. And I think a good example of this is that in American culture, people tend to have a soft approach when offering criticism or a correction, if they want to offer a criticism or a correction at all. But let's say that it's forced. Let's say that I ask my friend, do you like my outfit? And she absolutely hates my outfit. She probably won't come out and just say, I hate it, unless she's feeling a little cheeky, because it would hurt my feelings and make me really self-conscious. So instead, what she would probably do is give me some sort of positive compliment. Like, I really like those shoes, or your hair looks great. And then the but, and then we'll offer the harsh criticism of her hating my outfit. But in German culture, it feels like people are a lot more brash and harsh, honest, blunt, whatever you want to say. They don't really feel the need to beat around the bush like I think a lot of Americans do. And as someone who's very much used to that softer approach, I had a hard time dealing with Misha's way of communicating criticisms to me, because it just felt so unloving and unkind, and I'm sensitive. And the last sort of byproduct of my being in a relationship with a German that I will share with you guys is that I talk about Germany a lot. I mean, it feels like a lot. And I'm sure having this YouTube channel sort of skews my perception a bit, but yeah. At work, if I'm talking about foreign policy with coworkers, I probably will end up bringing up Germany. Or if I'm even talking to them about domestic public policy and I want to switch the conversation from being introspective to extrospective, I will probably bring up Germany. Or if I'm telling stories, a lot of my stories trace back to the time that I was living in Germany or visiting Germany, or deal with Misha and entail him being German. It's just a lot. I mean, in reality, I probably talk way more about politics and topics that relate to work or my hobbies or other aspects of my life, but it just feels like a lot of Germany. It's actually a big reason why I took a break from producing German-focused content on my channel, because for a while there, I just couldn't bear hearing myself say Germany anymore. But here I am, back on the horse. I don't know. Actually, I have one more thing that I want to say that I just thought of, which I think is because I'm dating Misha. I've grown to become way more sensitive to German stereotypes or negative references, things that I don't think I really would have picked up on before. For example, and I've seen this happen so many times now, where an American who doesn't know German already will want to practice or say a German phrase that they just learned or read, or say they heard it in a movie, and they will shout the German. Even if it wasn't shouted in the movie, when they say it, when they recite it, they will suddenly be shouting. And I think that's just because more often than not, that is how we hear German being communicated in a lot of our TV shows, movies, and even video games. And I don't think I would have really noticed that before, but now I'm very sensitive to it. Like, why did you have to ask "Sprechen Sie Deutsch" in such an angry voice? Like, so unnecessary. But anyway, with that, friends, I am done. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I hope that you found it interesting. I know I'm very curious to read what you guys have to say in the comments, particularly if you have experienced a multinational, multicultural, or interracial relationship. I think that they're very unique and oftentimes come with very funny stories. Thanks so much to all of my patrons. You guys are awesome for the support that you've given me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!